Hello, everybody. Have you ever wondered what a woman truly notices about a man in the very first moment she sees him, before a single word is spoken, before a smile is exchanged, before any kind of introduction is made? What if I told you that within less than 3 seconds, a woman's brain has already begun a remarkably sophisticated evaluation, one that is ancient, instinctive, and deeply wired into her psychology? Today, we are going to break that down, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at first impressions the same way again. And here is what makes this so fascinating. This is not about vanity. This is not about shallow judgment. What women do in those first 3 seconds is actually one of the most complex, multi-layered psychological processes that modern science has only recently begun to fully understand. Eye-tracking studies, evolutionary psychology research, and behavioral science are all pointing to the same stunning conclusion. And today, we are going to walk through every piece of it together, step by step. Now, before we go any further, I want to pause right here and speak directly to you. Yes, you watching this right now. Whether you are a woman who has always felt that invisible pull towards certain people without being able to explain why, or someone who wants to understand how attraction and connection really work beneath the surface, this video is for you. This is the kind of content that makes you stop and think, wait, that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I feel. And if that resonates with you, I want you to do something for me right now. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what is the very first thing you notice about someone when you meet them? Your answers genuinely make this community richer, and they help more people find this content who need it. I'm Mary Smith, host of the Senior Mindful Living YouTube channel, and if you are new here, welcome. This is a space where we explore the deeper truths of human psychology, relationship dynamics, and emotional well-being with warmth, with science, and with real, honest conversation. If that sounds like something you need in your life right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a video. Now, let's get into the heart of what the research actually tells us. Scientists conducting eye-tracking studies, where they literally follow the exact path a person's gaze travels when looking at another person, found something extraordinary when studying how women visually process men. The gaze does not begin at the face, as most people would assume. Instead, women's eyes tend to land first on the chest and upper body. Then they move toward the pelvic region, then back up toward the midriff, and finally, they settle on the face. All of this happens in under 3 seconds. 3 seconds, the length of a breath, and yet so much is being processed in that tiny window of time. Now I want you to hold on to something important here, because this is where so many conversations about attraction go wrong. When we talk about the pelvic region being part of this visual sweep, we are not talking about something crude or purely sexual. What the research reveals is that this visual pattern is deeply connected to something called evolutionary psychology, the science of understanding human behavior through the lens of our ancient past. From an evolutionary standpoint, a woman's brain, often without her conscious awareness, is rapidly scanning for signals. Signals of strength, signals of health, signals of protection. And yes, signals of reproductive viability. Her brain is doing this automatically, the way your lungs breathe without you telling them to. Think about a woman named Claire. Claire is a 38-year-old professional. She is educated, independent, and fully in control of her life choices. She walks into a networking event and across the room, she notices a man. She cannot explain why she notices him. She just does. Something draws her gaze, and in the next few moments, something inside her either settles or doesn't. She may not consciously register what her eyes scanned or in what order, but her nervous system has already begun processing. That is the power of what we are talking about today. It is happening to all of us, all the time, beneath the surface of conscious thought. The upper body, specifically the chest and shoulder area, holds a particular significance in this process. Research in evolutionary psychology tells us that what is sometimes called an inverted triangle body shape, where the chest and shoulders are broader than the lower body, historically signaled physical strength and genetic fitness. Now here is the critical nuance. This does not mean only men with a certain body type are attractive. What the brain is actually doing is looking for cues, for signals, for patterns that suggest health and vitality. And these signals exist across a wide range of body types. What the science is describing is a tendency, a bias built over thousands of years of human survival, not a rigid checklist. And here is something I find deeply moving about this research. When a woman's eyes eventually settle on the face, and they always do, what is she actually looking for? She is looking for safety. She is reading his eyes for warmth and steadiness. She is observing whether he can hold eye contact with ease, not with aggression, but with calm confidence. She is noticing his smile, not just for attractiveness, but for what a genuine smile communicates. That this person is socially comfortable, that he belongs somewhere, that he has people, that he is connected to a community. And from the deepest evolutionary perspective, a man who has a community, who has social bonds, who is respected and trusted by those around him, that man has access to resources, to support, to protection. And that matters to the brain that is wired for survival and connection. Let me offer you a practical way to think about this. Imagine two men walking into the same room. The first man walks in with his shoulders slightly hunched, his gaze drifting to the floor, his smile uncertain, almost apologetic. The second man walks in, not arrogantly, but with quiet ease. He stands tall. His gaze is open. When someone catches his eye, he smiles naturally, genuinely. He does not look like he is performing confidence. He looks like he simply belongs wherever he is standing. Now, and here is the question I want you to sit with. Which man would most women's nervous systems respond to first? And more importantly, why? The why is everything. Because understanding the why gives us the power to grow, to work on ourselves not from a place of insecurity, but from a place of genuine self-awareness. And that is what psychology at its best does. It doesn't shame us for our instincts, it illuminates them. Here is what I want you to try this week as a real, actionable exercise. The next time you are in a social setting, a grocery store, a family gathering, a workplace meeting, pay conscious attention to where your eyes go first when you encounter someone new. Not to judge yourself, but to observe yourself with curiosity. Write it down afterward if you can. Notice if there is a pattern. Notice what feelings arise alongside that first glance. Are you drawn toward openness, toward stillness, toward warmth? This kind of mindful self-observation is one of the most powerful tools in emotional intelligence development, and it takes less than 5 minutes. Now, let's talk about eye contact specifically, because this came up in the research in a way that I think is profoundly important and often misunderstood. Eye contact, in the context of attraction and first impressions, is not about staring. It is not about dominance or performance. What comfortable, natural eye contact communicates is emotional availability. It says, I see you. I am not afraid of being seen. I am present with you in this moment. And for women especially, who, as the research consistently shows, spend more time than men evaluating safety and emotional signals, that kind of eye contact carries enormous weight. It reduces the anxiety that lives underneath every new connection. It says, you can trust me. I am not hiding. There is no reason to fear. There is a beautiful psychological concept woven through all of this research, and it is the concept of signals. Human beings are constantly sending and receiving signals, most of them nonverbal, most of them unconscious. The way you carry your body is a signal. The way your face moves when you listen is a signal. The way you occupy space, not dominating it, but inhabiting it comfortably, is a signal. And the extraordinary thing about women's perceptual systems is how finely tuned they are to reading those signals, often without ever consciously realizing they are doing it. Studies in social psychology have found that women consistently outperform men in reading nonverbal cues, in detecting subtle emotional shifts, in picking up on microexpressions. This is not a stereotype. This is neurological reality, shaped by thousands of years of evolutionary pressure. So what does all of this mean for how we show up in the world, in our relationships, in our daily lives? It means that the investment in yourself, in your physical health, in your emotional openness, in your social confidence, is not vanity. It is not performance. It is an act of genuine self-respect that radiates outward in ways that science can now actually measure. Working on your posture, not because you are trying to look impressive, but because standing tall is an expression of how you feel about yourself on the inside. Practicing eye contact, not to manipulate, but because presence is one of the most generous gifts one human being can offer another. Building your community, investing in friendships and connections, not as strategy, but because human beings are wired for belonging, and that belonging is visible. It shows on you. I want to share one more thought before we close, and it is perhaps the most important one of all. Everything we have talked about today, the evolutionary wiring, the visual scanning, the unconscious signals, all of it is operating beneath the level of choice. But here is what is also true. We are not slaves to our biology. We are human beings with the extraordinary capacity for self-reflection, for growth, for choosing who we want to become. The science doesn't box us in. It opens a window. It shows us what is happening so that we can engage with it consciously, compassionately, and with genuine curiosity about ourselves and the people we love. If this video gave you something today, a new perspective, a moment of recognition, a question worth sitting with, I would love to hear about it in the comments. This community is built on honest, thoughtful conversation, and every comment you leave helps this content reach someone else who might really need it. If you haven't already, please give this video a like, share it with someone in your life who loves understanding the deeper layers of human connection, and subscribe to this channel so we can keep exploring these truths together. I will see you in the next one.